uh, all the signs that you were going to have a disaster in either case were there. And I think a lot of us missed them in both cases.
So, Barbara, the title of your book, Barbara, is How Civil Wars Start and How to Stop Them. Civil war is a term that we certainly don't throw around lightly here, and I know you don't either. So what do you see right now that leads you to believe there may be at least the embers or perhaps something that could stoke it to become something bigger than it is now?
Yeah. For the last 30 years, I've been studying civil wars in places like Syria, Iraq, Mozambique, Northern Ireland. And one of the things that we've learned is that the same factors tend to emerge no matter where these conflicts break out. And for the last 5 years, I've been watching many of these factors emerge here in the United States at a surprisingly fast rate. And it's the reason why I wrote the book.
So, Barbara, let's talk a little bit more about some of the disturbing signs that you see and what can be done here, at this perilous moment. What can be done to prevent the nation from heading down that course?
Yeah. So I worked on a task force run by the United States government that looked at civil wars or looked at countries outside the United States. Our job was to come up with a predictive model of where political instability and violence was likely to break out. And we found that two factors, and really only two factors, best predicted where civil war was likely to break out. The first was what we called anocracy. That's a fancy term for partial democracy. And the second factor was whether a country's population began to break down into racial, ethnic, or religious political parties. And of course, if you look what's happened here in the United States over the last 5 years, our democracy has declined precipitously. After the January 6th insurrection, the United States was downgraded to a partial democracy for the very first time since 1800. And of course, we are increasingly experiencing racial politics. And so the two big factors that we know are warning signs for civil wars in countries outside the United States we're now seeing here.
In another scene